Story 1. Society in general. I work in healthcare and have several friends who are public school teachers. In the last 3 years, we can all testify that people have become much more aggressive, disrespectful, and violent. Many of us are afraid to go to work every day. Story 2. I am having my first baby in January. I am scared of the next 5 years in general. Story 3. I fear losing touch with meaningful connections as technology advances. Story 4. I read an article recently about a college professor who gave an assignment to a new class asking them to write a short essay about themselves. Many students used artificial intelligence to write these essays about themselves. If they cannot even write a short, simple essay without artificial intelligence, how many students who would normally fail are using artificial intelligence and other shortcuts to earn degrees that qualify them to be doctors, lawyers, scientists, and more? It is concerning to think about what the world will look like in a few decades. We are sliding backward, not forward. Story 5. The steady decline of suitable political elected official options. Story 6. Half the country will be furious in about 18 days. Literally 150 million people will feel robbed. There is so much passion over this, and many people have invested greatly in the outcome. I am afraid we might see violence or protests that are not peaceful. I worry that as a country we will trade one set of ideals for another, making life harder and the struggle more difficult. Story 7. Having to put my dog and cat down. My dog is currently 8 years old and my cat is 16 years old. I find that more stressful than having children. Story 8. I still can't find anyone to fall in love with, and by that time, my energy levels, libido, emotions, and fun times are wasted with no one by my side. Story 9. War is honestly terrifying. The world is a scary place, more so than ever right now, and I am worried a gigantic conflict is on the horizon. Story 10. My parents' health, world peace, relationship status, non-existent. Jobs, moving out, losing friends. Story 11. The escalation of tensions in multiple parts of the world is complex and interconnected, with many conflicts overlapping geographically and influencing each other. There are reports that the Democratic People's Republic of Korea military might join Russia against Ukraine, but no credible sources have confirmed this, so I hesitate to spread unverified information. China is involved in many areas beyond the obvious issues of Taiwan, the South China Sea, the Uyghurs' social credit systems, and Xi Jinping's leadership. The growing influence of the Belt and Road Initiative is significant. China sponsors infrastructure projects in over 100 countries, many of which have fragile economies that may become dependent on China. Some projects have been poorly constructed, worsening conditions instead of improving them, adding financial stress to already struggling economies. Former President Donald Trump is implying that he would reduce support for Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky appears to emphasize the choice between the North Atlantic Treaty Organization or nuclear escalation. Russian President Vladimir Putin seems determined to maintain conflict in the region at all costs. Living in Denmark, I am worried about future stability, especially for my children. The situation in the Baltic states is concerning. Finland, which preferred neutrality, has joined the alliance due to the threat on its border. Sweden has done the same. Denmark, which controls the Storebelt, Lillebelt, and Kattegat Straits, faces significant responsibility. The Danish military has been a peacetime force for decades. The last time a Danish warship responded to active conflict was long ago when ships were made of wood, and that ship is now a museum. Much has happened in the past 5 years, and much more may happen in the future. Given current trends, I do not find the outlook hopeful. Story 12. There will never be any Puerto Rican girls who are eager to meet me. Story 13. Raising my son right and doing it alone, completely alone because my mother is dying right now. She will not be here for much longer, maybe a month. He is 3.5 right now. I will have no one to send a picture of his first day of school anymore. I feel so alone. Story 14. Alzheimer's disease, cancer, dementia, firearms, heart disease, stroke. Glad you asked. Story 15. I am posting 2 things. 1. The polarized political climate is reaching a point where populations break down and war breaks out. People are so passionate about politics and their team winning that they completely neglect what it means to be a decent person. They are willing to kill over it. 2. Complete and total financial collapse. Savings and retirements of most Americans are being wiped out due to government overspending, leaving the majority of people without a means to survive in their later years. This includes the collapse of the Social Security system and the income our elderly rely on for survival. Story 16. I am Latina living in the United States. I still get comments from people asking about my legal status and how I can stand by and watch the bad Latinos come to this country and take our jobs. I am guessing November 6th is going to be a very interesting day. I still have 1 year left of school, but I am terrified. Story 17. My child will be a teenager in the next 5 years. She is already intelligent, headstrong, and charismatic. I am worried about things she may do and things others may try to do. Story 18. That one of my regular checkups with my oncologist will show that my cancer has returned. Story 19. These random thoughts of killing myself have started to become appealing. I want to add that I do not think I am suicidal. The thought just pops up now and then for a few minutes. Story 20. I will still be stuck working a job with no progression in a town I hate with little chance of getting out. I am trying to find other work, but although it is claimed that Generation Z is lazy or that there are millions of jobs available, it does not seem like anyone actually wants to hire. Story 21. The increasing chaos caused by more extreme weather events due to climate change. Story 22. The children who graduate in the next 5 years are completely helpless. They take the first search result on Google as gospel and never dig any deeper. They do not read. They do not know how to punctuate a sentence. They are horrible to each other and make fun of people to the point of suicide but still find that funny. Their use of marijuana is less than my generation's, and we made it legal. The amount of anxiety and depression is unreal. They have zero social skills and do not care to learn them. Their parents are mostly checked out, and both parents and children are completely addicted to their phones. They believe everything they see on TikTok, such as flat earth theories and whatever misogynistic person is currently popular. The apathy toward learning is just creating a group of uninformed individuals. Story 23. Artificial intelligence is a technology we should all be concerned about. It is going to transform our entire world in every way imaginable. It will take jobs, create deepfakes for propaganda, be used for weapons in war, and other concerning purposes. However, it will also revolutionize medicine and generate ideas we would never have thought of on our own. The next 5 to 10 years are expected to be disruptive. Story 24. Having a child and not being able to provide well enough for them, not only financially but also emotionally. Having to teach them about the difficult world they will have to learn to survive in. Story 25. Right now, I am unemployed and I cannot bring myself to go back into that same career. I am older, so changing careers is not a great idea, but I will die from stress if I have to return to that toxicity. What do I do for a living if not what I have done for decades? Story 26. There are many answers about our election, but I can live with that however it goes, and I believe most people will. I am 1,000 times more concerned about Israel picking a fight with everyone around them and with Ukraine. I do not see any of this ending well without more Western powers stepping in, and we know those interventions often come with extreme prejudice and old hatred between those parties. Next, someone might try to invade Russia in the winter all over again. Story 27. For me, I live in the Middle East, specifically Jordan. I am afraid the next 5 years will only bring wars for us. It is unstable and we are unable to plan or think of a future. It is only survival for us. Life continues in the strangest way. Story 28. I am always afraid of my mother dying. I have 2 reasons for this. When she dies, I will be homeless. I am disabled, and my monthly check is not nearly enough to live on. Also, my mother is my best friend, and I cannot imagine living without her. I will be homeless and totally alone. Story 29. The United States is continuing its descent into fascism. Even if Vice President Kamala Harris wins in November, there are still state governments that will be very conservative. and they will serve as testing grounds to see how far the right can push fascism in this country. Whenever fascism rises in a country, anyone who is not already in the privileged classes suffers, and I am not part of the privileged classes. Story 30. My daughter is becoming a teenager. Being a kid these days seems harder than when I was growing up. Story 31. Cancer returning and, shortly after that, losing my job. Story 32. Fresh water is becoming scarce in major cities, leading to water conflicts. Story 33. Not graduating from college, being unemployed, still depending on my parents, not having to leave home, and becoming a financially stable and independent adult, having no growth or improvement. Story 34. Artificial intelligence impact on jobs. I do not think most people are truly aware of what exponential growth in this field actually means. Story 35. Inflation. I live in a country where wages have been stagnant for quite a while, but prices are going up every year. I could leave, but I do not because I do not want to abandon my mother. I am scared for my future and how I will have to face everything in this sinking economy. Story 36. In the next 5 hours, my flight, which takes off in 10 minutes, has not started boarding. It is supposed to drop me off at an airport just as my next flight begins boarding. Fortunately, the airport in question is fairly small. Update. My flight was delayed by 20 minutes, and my connecting flight is delayed by 30 minutes. It should work out just fine. Now, I am worried about my birth country declining into fascism over the next 5 years. Story 37. I have a lot of anxiety about irrational things, but I fear this upcoming United States election. Story 38. That my country will devolve into one where I can no longer safely raise a family, so I will have to attempt to move us somewhere else in the world and start over. Story 39. The effects a Donald Trump victory would have on environmental protection. Story 40. I am worried a regional war will spread throughout the Middle East, and it is possible it will lead to World War III. I am also terrified at the prospect of a Trump presidency. Story 41. I will be an empty nester, and I will not know who I am anymore. Story 42. Another Donald Trump presidency. I know Kamala Harris is not all that great, but at least she is sane. Story 43. Living in Europe. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Two narcissistic individuals. Story 44. My increasing age and my wife's health. More generally, I am very worried about the effects of a Donald Trump presidency, both domestic and abroad. Flipping the table is not good policy, and he seems to be proceeding in a particularly dangerous way. Story 45. The final stages of capitalism will inevitably lead to an economic collapse if corporations continue to operate without regulation. Story 46. Well, considering the fact that I live in the Middle East with hostile neighbors who receive full support from the United States regardless of their actions, I am terrified because there seems to be no accountability for any of their actions. Living next to them makes me wonder who is next and to what extent we are going to suffer from the effects of war. Story 47. Housing. I was made redundant a year ago. I have not got another job yet. My savings are running low, and rent is increasing. Story 48. I am a 77-year-old female in very good shape both physically and intellectually. My biggest fear is losing the advantages I still enjoy. I have younger friends who use walkers, wheelchairs, and canes. I would also hate to lose my desire to keep learning and growing. Story 49. Losing my job and entering the difficult current job market or lack thereof. I genuinely do not have the energy to submit 1,000 applications and resumes a day to receive only 2 responses within a few weeks. Story 50. Aging, stagnation, losing rights, loved ones passing. Not too much. Story 51. Injuring myself so I cannot do the job I just started is not ideal. Switching career paths for the 3rd time at 19 would not be beneficial for me. Additionally, having a difficult relationship is challenging. Story 52. My sister has passed away. For context, I am mentally ill, and she was not getting any younger. She was the only one willing to take care of me. Trust me, I am nothing but a burden. Sometimes I wished she would move on with her life and leave me behind, but she did not, and that hurt me a lot. I am not cut out for this world alone, so when she went, I felt like I would go too. I hoped it would not happen within 5 years, but her health visibly declined. I feel it was my fault for what I put her through. Story 53. The cumulative health impacts on the population from multiple coronavirus reinfections every year are significant. Long coronavirus numbers continue to rise, taking people out of the workforce. There is currently no cure or effective treatment available. Coronavirus also increases the risks of heart attacks, strokes, cancers, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, diabetes, autoimmune conditions, and immune deficiencies. Additionally, avian influenza is spreading in the United States. Marburg virus and monkeypox are causing severe outbreaks in Africa. The past 5 years have seriously undermined public health, and we are unprepared for multiple pandemics. Story 54. My body is degrading to the point of needing mobility assistance 24/7 or my breathing getting bad enough that I need an oxygen tank. Story 55. Getting hit by a stronger hurricane was very challenging for us. Story 56. After losing my 10-year-old daughter last year and my grandmother this year, the thought of losing more family terrifies me. Story 57. In 5 years, my children will be 15 and 17. Their childhood has passed quickly, and I have been present for every moment. I am truly afraid of losing my relationship with either of them over the next few years. Teenagers are challenging, as I remember. It feels strange to imagine them not needing me or not trusting my experiences. To some extent, they have to figure things out for themselves. Story 58. Whatever 2027 to 2029 is, Apophis, solar eruption, alien contact, all would be insane. Story 59. I am 7 years from retiring at 62, and I am terrified of dying in the next 5 years. I am very healthy, but an accident or unexpected event worries me. Story 60. 72 million, nothing left to cause fear. We live a very comfortable homebody lifestyle. Life is good. Story 61. Pancreatic cancer can affect anyone and is usually fatal. Story 62. Politicians or governments making a fuss about the next trivial issue to justify removing rights from low, middle, and upper-middle wealth populations. The end of net neutrality is one of those possible issues. Social control and social credit systems are another. Grants for electric vehicles and eco-friendly devices benefit just a few instead of helping actual citizens. Story 63. I am going to get married and start a family soon. Am I really going to be a wife and a mother? I am still a kid at heart, so this is becoming more surreal. Story 64. As a queer, disabled teenager, I have noticed the shift toward conservative or far-right policies in many European governments. This trend is pushing us toward more pro-war politics, which is unfortunate because I love my country and do not want to leave. Story 65. My parents are still alive. I am 60 years old and an only child. Story 66. The country is collapsing. I never thought this would be possible just 5 years ago, but look at us now. Story 67. Not taking control of my health and overcoming my mobile phone addiction. Story 68. In March 2023, I lost a cousin, a 35-year-old female, to lupus. 4 days later, I lost a nephew, age 31, whose body gave out from years of drug use. In August, I lost another cousin, a 40-year-old male, to pancreatic cancer. I am terrified I will lose more loved ones who are too young to die. Story 69. Global warming is causing plants and animals to go extinct because we are destroying the planet. Story 70. That my 22-year-old son will keep smoking marijuana all day and never amount to anything. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.